Honestly, you're putting in some incredible work into this server, man. Like
Yeah,
it's
I'm
looking really good.
like it's relaxing for me just to be able to do this. Usually when I'm like playing on other servers and stuff, I always feel like I sort of need to stream it.
Oh yeah, interesting.
Sub gamer,
Right, right. Hello, gamer. Appreciate you tuning
they're
in.
one of my mods.
Nice. Oh, nice, cool. If you want
Yeah,
to moderate this chat, just kidding. Should be fun. Should be pretty tame. I haven't
yeah,
seen like a crazy USD Annenberg Twitch stream in a while. Um,
yeah.
cool. So I
Sub
guess
paradox.
yeah. Oh, there you are. Nice. I made the skin when I was in sixth grade, so
Really?
it's still there. Yeah, I just put like a bunch of shapes together.
Nice.
Um, yeah. So I guess yeah. Let's get into it, man. How did you get into streaming? Like I don't know. I literally met you a couple like days ago, honestly, just because
Yeah,
of this project. So I didn't know that you existed really until this, which is kind of cool. I don't really know too
yeah.
many people in the USC streaming circuit. So
I
yeah,
mean, like, I don't know many people in the USD streaming circuit. I don't think there really is one.
Hmm,
I only started streaming in November,
okay.
end of October, early November. Um, and yeah, it's been fucking wild ride since then. About
Yeah,
6 months now. So
that makes
yeah,
sense. Yeah. So what prompted you to get into it?
I've got many friends who are big streamers.
Oh, okay, cool.
I've always kind of wanted to stream for like a long time, but I've never gotten around to it. And last semester was a really light semester for me, so I had quite a lot of free time, and so I just said, "Fuck it, why not?" and decided to start streaming. Um, yeah,
How's it been going so far? Like, how's the
it's been going amazingly, like
really?
beyond all my expectations.
How so?
Um, I remember like when I started, I was like very very content with having like five or six average viewers, and now I can get like usually averaging around 20 to 30,
That's crazy. That's actually
which is
that's yeah.
very high. And that's
How did you
Polito.
how did you get to that point? Like what kind of things did you do?
Um, I owe a lot of it to there was a project called S&P Earth,
Hmm.
which was a very large creator Minecraft server, so it had lots of very influential Minecraft streamers and YouTubers on it.
Hmm. Okay. I saw some of your
And
videos on YouTube that you were like featured in some of
yeah,
those people's
yeah,
stuff.
but see, like I got into that even though I was really small, just because I was friends with a lot of people there,
Hmm.
and yeah, it's been really cool.
So what got you into that Minecraft community, the S&P server?
I'm good friends with a lot of the other creators in there already.
Okay.
I'd met them at events or we had mutual friends, and so when one of my friends called James Gee asked if I could join the server, a lot of people said, "Yeah, he's a good guy. Let's add him."
Nice. Oh, that's pretty useful.
Yeah,
So were you always like a big video game guy? Like were you always playing when you were a kid, kind of thing?
not usually, no.
Oh, okay. So this is like a pretty recent endeavor.
No, I mean I've always liked playing games. Well, I say always. I like my first like real foray into games was like when I was like 10, 11, 12, playing. Actually, no, but first game was when I was 7, and that was fucking Club Penguin. Before that, I didn't
Hell
play
yeah.
games.
Okay. Yeah, Club Penguin's great. Good streaming game now, I wish. That'd be cool. Rest in peace.
Um, but yeah, like I don't play a huge amount of games,
hmm
but I really enjoy them. I enjoy the whole culture around them.
Yeah.
But like when people say like everyone's played Zelda games, Mario games, Sonic games, all those classics, I've not played a single one of those games.
Interesting. Do you feel like an outsider because of it? Like, does it feel a little bit weird?
A little bit. Like there's times where people will reference something and I won't get the reference because I mean generally I've watched videos, I understand the culture around it, but it's you know, it's a bit weird sometimes because people kind of expect you to know those references in the situation. So
was it like intimidating coming into the streaming world?
not really, not at all.
Oh, okay.
I like had appeared in a lot of my friends' videos before, so I kind of knew what to expect. Because it was just, you know, be yourself and be very interactive, and the more interactive you are, the better it is. So yeah, I look so talky.
The gateway drug of gaming, Club Penguin. That's honestly kind of true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember.
I
remember my first. So when you make a Club Penguin account, the two things it tells you not to do, but the main thing it tells you not to do in when you make your your Club Penguin account name is put any identifying information in there, like actual name or actual age or whatever.
Right.
And me being 7 at the time when I created that, I put my real first name and my age as my username for that.
Just put your password there too, might as well. Why not?
I remember my password was really short, and because I was scared of forgetting it, I wrote it down on a piece of paper and then hid it somewhere, and then promptly forgot where I hid it until like 5 years later, where I was like, "Oh shit!"
It's super useful to have now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's been cool.
That's exciting. I feel like the foray into streaming is just it's very I don't know, like I feel like a lot of people are starting to do that now too, but it's also becoming a little bit like podcasting, you know.
Definitely.
Where everyone's starting their own podcast, everyone wants to be like a podcast host, but you've kind of like figured out how to make it, because everyone starts their podcast or everyone starts a stream and they get no viewers, and they do it for like a month and it's terrible, but it seems like you kind of figured out your niche, you kind of like have a thing going.
Number, like as with life, it's very like it's often more important who you know than what you know.
Interesting.
Because like I've got a friend, he's called Aurora, and he's been grinding away at streaming. He streamed every single day for like a year and a half, and by the end of that year and a half, he'd gained about 1,400 followers, which is a lot.
Yeah,
but it's not a ton. That's because he's not been reaching out to people and not been trying to interact with other creators, trying to do collabs and stuff like that, which would have greatly helped him.
So it's like a networking game too.
Definitely.
Okay. Crazy. Okay. Yeah. No, that's nuts. Do you think that it's like a thing you want to keep doing? Like, do you see this becoming a career?
I wish. So I'm British, in case you couldn't tell.
Oh, really? Interesting.
Yeah, I'm kidding. But like, I wish I could do this like full time, but unfortunately, since I'm not British, since I'm not American, doing streaming doesn't allow me to stay in the US. And staying in the US is my long-term goal. Like, I want to live here.
Like in Los Angeles, or just in the US?
Well, in Los Angeles would be amazing, but yeah, Los Angeles ideally, in the US in general. And I can't do that. Like, I can't get a visa to stay here if I'm not in a job or in school. So.
Oh, right, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
And streaming doesn't count as that?
No.
Oh, interesting.
You need like an actual job to sponsor the work visa and stuff like that. So.
Yeah. Okay. Because it's more of like a work at home, your own personal project that you make money on, kind of thing.
Yeah, definitely.
Do people donate to your stream? Have you seen?
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Okay.
So, well, ever since I started streaming, I've been raising money to help out my friend Scott.
Right.
He's got a ton of like big medical expenses. Because he has a condition where he's near constant migraines. And as a result, he is unable to like get a proper job or be in education because it's like debilitating. And as we live in the US, healthcare is fucking expensive.
Yeah, right.
And so ever since I started streaming, we've been raising money to help him pay those bills, pay all of that stuff off. And so far, we've raised over $3,000, which has been nuts.
That's very impressive.
Yeah, Otaku here, who's been incredibly generous on that as well.
How did you meet Otaku?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, how did you meet Otaku?
He was a friend of a friend, and I think somehow saw my stream. And he's been around. He's cool.
Okay, nice, fantastic. So I guess like a little bit more about like the act of streaming itself.
Yeah.
What keeps you going? Like, what are you looking for when you're streaming?
I don't have a goal. I just enjoy it.
So it's more of like a
Yeah, I like interacting with people. I just like streaming in general. It's I just enjoy doing streaming. It's not like I want to get 10,000 followers or I want to get $1,000 a month or something. That both of those would be great, but
right.
You know, that isn't what drives me. I just do it because it's fun. I like interacting with people, and you know, especially during these times where everyone's stuck inside, it's you know, it's a great way to interact with people and provide entertainment and all that. It's been cool to it's been cool because there's been some people who've come to my streams and said that I help brighten the day a little bit, which is surreal to me, but it's just, wow, that's pretty cool.
Do you see yourself like do you see your personality change on stream, or do you think you're about the same kind of person?
I'd hope not. I'd think I'm about the same. I try to keep very genuine, like very. I don't, you know, I don't like people who are disingenuine, who put on a persona.
Okay.
Though, like,
so your philosophy some people, of streaming is like you want to be you on stream.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Okay.
I know some people who definitely do put on things, and sometimes that benefits them because their personality in everyday life isn't great, but then they get on stream and everyone thinks they're great. But you know, that's,
exactly, yeah.
That's behind the scenes type stuff that's not very important, but yeah.
Interesting. Do you go around like when you're just not on stream? Because you stream for a long time too. You stream for, I mean, I guess this is like the standard now, streaming for 5 hours, 6 hours.
Yeah, that's like if I was just playing the game normally on my own, that's how long I'd play.
Right. Okay.
Because I tend to play just for really, really long periods of time. And it's amazing that some people stick with me those whole times. So we've done chatbot streams which have gone on for like almost 10 hours or something ridiculous. It's been crazy.
Do you, like, when you go back out into the real world, do you kind of like still, do you see the world like through a stream a little bit now? Like, has it impacted the way you've like just gone about real life?
Not really, but I like relating. I can now relate to other streamers and the way streams are done a lot more.
Okay.
Like there are two big bits of entertainment that I think are going to be very, very, very important over the next decade or so. Mm-hmm. And those two are streaming and VR.
That's funny. Those were the two things I want to talk about today.
Yeah, currently I've got my fingers in both of those pies, so I'm pretty happy about those.
Yeah, honestly, let's just go there. That's fine.
Sure.
So streaming and VR, how are those two gonna, like, how do you do both at once?
Well, I've never actually streamed in VR.
Okay.
I'm incredibly passionate about VR, but I've never streamed in it.
Okay.
But I think it's a change of I forget the proper phrase, like a paradigm shift, I guess, where people are moving away from traditional media of cable TV type stuff, and then moving over to platforms like YouTube and Twitch to find um, like stuff that specifically fits their taste. So they'll find YouTubers they like watching, or they find Twitch streamers they like watching, and it depends what you're looking for.
You're looking for your personality, right? Like you're not looking for the content per se. You want like a person that you hang out with every day.
It depends. It really depends because I mean, you know Shroud, right?
Of course.
He's a crazy good FPS player. And a lot of people watch him just because he's so insane at the game. And then there's people like Dyrus, who was a professional League of Legends player. Has got a bunch of mutual friends of him. But his personality is like very, very like low and like chilled, and it isn't like the big part of his streams.
Mm-hmm.
It was just like his insane gameplay. Apparently, I don't play League of Legends. I never have, but that's just like what I gathered from knowing him. But yeah,
how do you keep that up though? Like, how do you keep because streaming is so personality based? Like, how do you make sure that you keep that interest from people? Because that's the problem. Like, you know, you keep curated videos. You're a video maker. Or you're a photographer or something. Traditional forms of media. You know, you can curate yourself a little bit more. How do you curate a stream in that way? Like to keep it going, you know, to make it like long-term, long-standing.
But like, do you stream for a long period of time?
Or... I guess, like, how do you keep people's interest over years, you know? Do you think it's easier than videos? Or do you think it's, you know?
I think they're different. They're different things for sure. Okay. Like, when you're streaming, interactivity, like talking with the chat, asking the questions, them asking you questions, or starting conversations, those are incredibly important. And if you don't do that, it doesn't really build a sense of community around you. That like, it's incredibly important to build a community around yourself, like around your personality. And not just around yourself, you want the people who watch you to get to know each other as well.
So it's about the community, it's not about you.
Exactly, yeah.
And you've developed that with the Discord server. Do you think like Discord's the way to build that community? Do you see that as like the best platform in that regard?
Discord is like the one I know the best. I have a ton of experience with it, but I also feel it's very, very strong for building communities. One of the strongest out there available. Yeah, like one of the first things I did when I started my Twitch channel was create my own streaming Discord, and I felt a bit conflicted about that because I'm the owner of a server called the VR Chat Community Discord, which is the largest community-run VR Chat Discord, and I was worried.
That's so cool.
Yeah, I was worried that the people on there would get upset about me starting my own Discord because I was supposed to be dedicated to that one rather than my own one. So I was a bit worried about that. But I'm very, very happy that I decided to make my own Discord because it's just been incredibly beneficial for my own growth and my own community. It's like to be a great community platform.
Yeah,
so many things that use Slack which are awful.
Yeah, Slack is not. Slack is not. I mean, Gamerwin, I appreciate that. Slack is great. God, I freaking hate Slack though. Compared to Discord, Jesus.
Yeah. I used to be part of the 3D printing club.
Nice.
3D4E or something. Oh wait, no. It was the VR club. I tried to be a part of that, but the organization was awful, and everything was really bad, and I couldn't get in.
Was it here? This at USC? Okay.
Yeah, it's run by Zach, whatever his name is.
Zach Flores?
Yeah.
No way. I interviewed him on this show. That's
Yeah,
funny.
but I tried to get it. Like I applied to it like 3 separate times, like putting my email address on lists, and then never got any emails about anything happening. It was
That's too
really
bad. We
disappointing.
should definitely have a good VR club here. I mean,
Sorry?
it's necessary. We should definitely have a good VR club at USC.
Yeah,
It's
like I briefly like tried to set up a VR community on Discord.
hmm
Because one of my biggest things I was trying, like I knew the importance of building a community around things, and I was talking to Zach and saying, "Hey, we should set up a Discord so people can join it and get interested in VR at USC. We can bring all the interest around USC, all the people who have headsets and have big events and stuff like that, all stuff that he wasn't doing with the VR club. Because the VR club was entirely, we're going to design VR games and nothing
hmm.
else.
No, that's not
It
what it should be.
wasn't. It wasn't about sharing what VR is capable of.
Which is the experience. It's a community.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Do you think that because you run now you run the so you're in okay you're in many communities. You have the
Yeah.
VR chat community. You have your own pub, that Discord. You now have this streaming Discord community.
Yeah.
USC. I feel like the Minecraft server, the Minecraft Discord, is becoming its own little thing. Do you think in the future, maybe not in the so distant future, would you like to transition all of your communities into a VR community? Like take Discord, but make Discord a VR platform?
I think the limitation of that at the moment, like it would need to be a long way down the line because VR is not as accessible at the moment
For now, I
as
mean,
as it
yeah.
as it should be. Like my dad's partner, for example, she is a very influential fashion designer,
hmm
and she is looking at ways to do like move her brand into VR.
Okay,
Um,
interesting.
because especially with this whole COVID virus thing going on at the moment, um, if if someone can get in VR or AR and see what they look like with a certain outfit on or different fits. In November 2017, I got in my YouTube recommended some videos for VR chat. And I said, this looks really cool. I want to try this out. And I tried it out, fell in love with it. I spent 100 hours in game my first 10 days using it. So,
Incredible.
but luckily, I discovered it at the time that it was still really, really small.
Right.
So, VR chat had at the time like average concurrent users of like 80 to 100, 150 on average. Nowadays, it's like rarely drops below like 13,000 concurrent players.
Jesus. What do people do on VR chat?
They chat, hang out, play games. It's a very social game.
Okay.
But yeah, since it was like so early in VR chats, like time, it like there was no one playing. I was able to meet a lot of the meet and become friends with a lot of the people who would become like the biggest content creators on the plan on the platform, as well as I became friends with many of the devs. And you say chat staring at mirror simulator, definitely there's a big criticism of VR chat. But what the thing which really like cemented me in it was on VR chat every New Year there is the New Year's event. So they have an entire like virtual version of Times Square from New York.
Incredible.
And with the guy who is like the lead community manager for VR chat, he's a guy called VR Pill. We came up with the idea to do that, but we'd replace all the posters and advertisements in Times Square with ones I'd made for the community. So
Nice.
I'm pretty good with Photoshop. And so upon seeing that, we came up with this idea and we decided to do it. And we got like 5 other people involved. And thus the entire event was launched, and it's happened 2017, 2018, 2019, 3 times now. And it's the most popular event for VR chat because it's like when people are home alone on New Year, they're able to meet people and celebrate the coming of the New Year all together, which is something they would have never been able to do before. So someone from middle of bumfuck nowhere, Ohio, can
join in the celebration,
celebrate New Year with someone in Tokyo, Japan, and take shots together or something, have fun. But yeah, it's an amazing unifying technology that brings people together.
Do you have any like favorite moments from VR chat? I mean, besides that sounds pretty incredible. But like, are there any, instances?
Yeah, there's been so many. I met one of my best friends through VR chat. It's a guy. He's a content creator, streamer, YouTuber called Jameski. And when I met him, he lived in Denmark, but he then came and moved to LA. And there's been so many like funny skits and things with him through VR chat because he's always surrounded by a bunch of like very talented like model creators or funny people in general, and it's just been hilarious meeting them all. I can't think of any in particular at the moment, but yeah.
No, that makes sense. What do you think is the future of VR chat? Like, what needs to happen for it to become? I guess like I feel like so I think VR obviously is just we're just trying to get as close as we can. At least my perspective. Feel free to like disagree, but like trying to get as close as we can to feeling like we are in a world that is like a representation of Earth, but enhanced. So we're trying to get as close as we can. Like, what needs to happen to get there in VR chat? Like, to having these conversations with people, making it feel like we're in a home. We're in a place.
Yeah. Well, I definitely think the biggest thing that does happen is to make the technology more accessible. Oh, hey, it's Gabe. Yeah, technology needs to get more accessible and cheaper. But I don't think photorealism or like it needing to seem real is incredibly important.
Okay.
I think the big important thing is being able to I forget how to like phrase this, like portray yourself how you want to. It like in the real world, you're stuck with what you look like, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
And there's a lot of people who are very self-conscious about what they look like, or they say, I don't like blah blah blah. I think my hairline's too high, blah blah blah. I don't know. And then you come to the virtual world, and you can be, I don't know, a fucking droid from Star Wars if you really wanted to, or someone or something. You'd be literally anything. It's really, really cool because people are able to show themselves how they want. Pink with blue hair.
Do you think that's good? Do you think that's healthy for a society?
I think it's interesting. I think it will evolve.
Right.
But if you've read or watched, Ready Player One.
Yes.
You could see like people, they do what they want in there and they appear how they want. And like, there was that one character who appeared male in game but was actually female in real life. It was just like, yeah, that happens in VR chat already. But it's like, in Ready Player One, it's like it's the year 2100 or something. I forget. I don't know. But yeah.
And how do you present yourself in VR? Like, what's your your persona?
I've used the same model since December 2017, and it's just like it's I think it's Red Hood from the Arkham games, just because someone gave me that model, and I don't know how. Like I don't know how to make my own models. I've not actually tried.
Mm-hmm.
But like for me, it's more my personality. The model is tall, and it like sort of reflects, I guess, like it's just tall, and it's a guy. So
That's you.
yeah,
Nice.
I'm 6'3" in the real world, but like it's you know it feels weird if I'm shorter than that in the online world and stuff. So I like being me. I really like being me. But then
That's
there are
not
a
the
lot
same
of
for everyone else, right? So,
yeah, there are a lot of people who are like, I don't like being me. I want to be someone else. So they can be in those situations.
do you worry that that's going to be a bit of a danger to, you know, um, I guess, I think you know what I'm asking.
Yeah. I think it is a danger, but it's a danger for the uneducated or unaware.
Okay.
You know.
Right.
So like if you take things at face value on the internet, you shouldn't be on the internet. The internet, like anything you read on the internet can't really be taken for face value, unless it's from like a verified source. And even then, you're going to want to compare that to other stuff, but a lot of people can't be bothered to do that.
Of course, yeah. I mean, that's the news. You know, no one wants to.
Yeah.
No one wants to fact check anything.
Like there was an article from CNN saying something about Elon Musk's Tesla ventilators hadn't got to any hospitals, and that they just disappeared. But then Tesla went out and provided all this information that they had actually delivered all the ventilators, and the hospitals were thanking them and stuff like that. So it's
not quite accurate.
Yeah. Always be wary of what information you find online or anywhere. You just gotta know what's happening.
That's true. So as you were part of the SMP Minecraft server, I feel like that actually goes hand in hand with VR, right? Like
sure.
The whole building. I mean, I watched a couple of your videos, and what I can tell, and correct me if I'm wrong, it's like recreating Earth in a way, kind of.
Yeah. So SMP Earth was 1 to 3,000 scale version of the Earth, and you could create factions and claim different parts of the world. And yeah, it was really cool because I'm an international relations major.
Okay. Yeah.
So it was like really cool for me, but it didn't last nearly as long as I'd hoped it would. But yeah.
Why not?
A lot of the people who were very influential and like sort of into the concept of the project, like there's a content creator called Josh, spelled JAWSH, who he's studying history, and he was basically role playing the German Empire.
Oh,
pre all the bad stuff. But it would have been hilarious if I was able to do some like role play war diplomacy stuff of him, but he and other people stopped playing because various behind the scenes drama things, stuff like that. So yeah,
because I see that, I feel like Minecraft is probably the first world building game that's like kind of the precursor to a true VR,
yeah.
Do you see like a VR? I mean, I guess there is Minecraft in VR, but do you see like a VR Minecraft becoming a real thing, and like countries starting to create their own countries in VR?
Like I don't know. It's a bit of a weird concept, because I know there are projects out there already. There's a project out there called Earth 1-to-1 or something like that.
Right. Yeah.
Where people have got a 1-to-1 scale version of the planet Earth, and they're in Minecraft, and they're recreating all the cities in it.
Incredible. That's beautiful.
There's it started like a month ago, and they've got like 150,000 people in their Discord, which is ridiculous. A platform like Minecraft has a ton of potential, but it's also very limited because we've got 1 by 1 meter cubes, and that's about it.
Right. Yeah. You can, I mean, we've seen from this server that like we tried to make the 1-to-1 measurement.
Yeah.
It doesn't quite work out, you know.
Like we're recreating the entire university campus, but like there are bits where we're like, okay, this bit needs to be stretched, this bit needs to be compressed. Okay, how am I going to make this pattern on this building work when I'm using meter cubes? And all these patterns are like 10 centimeters tall.
Right.
Yeah.
So do you think, like in VR, in the VR worldscape, do you think it's going to be more like a disparate kind of state faction system? Or is it going to be government-sponsored, one big server that, you know, is full of separate little entities? Or is it going to be like multiple servers, you know?
I don't think the government is going to get involved.
Interesting.
Okay. At least on a large scale. I think a private thing, like VR chat is very big at the moment, but it also has its flaws. And I believe like all it would take is a very well marketed competitor by a company with billions of dollars behind it to just like make something better than VR chat, and people might move over to that.
Oh, of course, yeah.
But the thing that VR chat has on its side at the moment is people go where their friends are. Right. If no one's on these other platforms, they're not going to go to them. All their friends are on VR chat, so they go play VR chat. So,
but if there was like a unified, I know this would take like an authoritarian government.
Yeah.
But if there were like a unified America, that, you know, it's really easy. The government like finally does something and like creates this America. Are people going to go, or do you think there's still going to be room for like, you know, VR chat, or like any company, Google's, Facebook's going to make one? You know,
I think people use VR as an escape.
Okay.
You go to VR not to experience the real world. You go to experience something you can't experience. It's like the same reason you play games, kind of.
So you don't think it'll be a replacement ever?
It won't be a replacement, but I think it will be, hopefully, maybe not hopefully, but I think it will become an increasingly important part of people's lives. Excuse me. Definitely become an increasingly important part of people's lives, more influential, and maybe change people's actions. So instead of maybe going with a whole bunch of friends to watch a concert live in real life, you'd all jump in a virtual world and watch that concert online. Or, I don't know, someone sets up this really, really cool project where Elon Musk shoots you to Mars and you and your friends can go to Mars in a matter of minutes, experiencing views and stuff that you'd never be able to experience in the real world, but you could experience and just see the blue marble in space. That's the planet Earth, but from a VR perspective. And if that's realistic enough, it's the kind of stuff which makes people go, wow, this is real shit.
Because I'll also see it like as a work alternative, you know?
Yeah.
Like if I don't have to, like right now, we're in quarantine, I'm taking classes in Zoom. I also, honestly, like it was pretty fun. I don't have two monitors. I have a single monitor setup, unfortunately, because, you know, I have a tiny desk. But I have a Quest with like one of the links, so I can link it to my laptop. And I figured out, I mean, it wasn't hard, but I got like the Zoom window on one side of my like headset, and then like, you know, what I was working on the other. So then I created this two monitors. It was a lot of fun.
Nice.
but I feel like it could be, a great way to replace like a meeting,
Oh, for
getting into
sure.
VR. So do you think
Like
that'll, yeah,
I've mentioned that I'm good friends with the VR chat developers.
yes,
Um, and they've been doing a lot of, if not most of, I imagine a lot of, I can't imagine they do most of their meetings in VR. Maybe they do, I'm not sure. But
hmm.
they do a lot of them in VR because it's like you can draw, you can get body language, you could um, there's one world in VR chat where you can draw in 3D space, for example.
Yes, yeah, it's a beautiful. Oh,
Um,
that's like that one app, right? I forget what it's called. The one that like you can
uh,
sculpture kind of thing.
yeah, I forget what it's called, but like you can draw in 3D space, so someone
Hmm.
could like literally imagine someone could say, suggest, hey, I've got this really cool idea for a change to the UI. And people go, oh, what do you mean? And rather than, I don't know, posting an image which is 2D, if you're designing it for a VR platform, it's great to have that third dimension and you
Of
can draw
course,
that in like 3D space and
right.
show that to other people in the virtual world. It's much more flexible. People can be all over the world and um, like VR chat doesn't have centralized offices. I mean, a lot of the main guys are based in San Francisco, but a lot of the biggest biggest staff members on there. So like there's guys based in France, there's guys based on the East Coast, there's people based in the
Because you
UK
can, right?
because you
It's
can,
VR
yeah,
chat. Yeah, yeah. No, that's crazy.
it's yeah.
So would you want to work for like a VR chat? Is that something you would want to do?
I I would love to like I'd almost been offered a job there before, um, but I couldn't because I'm a full time student and visa stuff means I can't just go. Let's go do that and just
Right,
change
right.
altogether. Um, Otherwise, that would have been pretty cool. But yeah, it's visa stuff is so frustrating.
Oh, it must be. Yeah, I can't even imagine.
um,
Yeah, no, that's nuts.
yeah,
Where, if you don't mind me asking, where are you from in England?
I'm from London.
Okay, cool, nice. Is the how's the tech scene there? Like, how's the VR scene in London? I guess.
It's I mean, like, I went to a boarding school before this.
Hmm.
I didn't actually spend much time in London.
Okay.
Um, so, but I know it's like the reason I came to the US is because it felt like it was on a different level technologically. It felt like it was much more future thinking than the UK was.
Hmm.
It felt like the UK was almost like not stuck in the past, but was thinking too small.
I see.
Like people would think, hey, this is a cool idea, let's do this. But in the US, people go, I'm going to do this thing you never thought was possible. And then they ran with it and they get
Right.
$10 million in funding. And
The
people go, wow, this is amazing. And it maybe crashes or burns, or maybe it becomes a new like Facebook or Twitter. It's like, wow, okay.
Who would have thought, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess in terms of streaming too, and like streaming in VR theoretically. Just gonna go back there for a second.
Sure.
Um, so, like, how would you feel about because streaming is eventually probably going to be way more holistic, and there are already like all the just chatting streamers who are, just going about their lives,
Yeah.
streaming from walking around doing that. And I feel like in VR it can become much more holistic. You put on like two cameras on top of your head. You walk around. People can just like POV your entire life. Um, you can have your chat open on your Google Glass or something. I don't
Yeah.
know, whatever it may be. Would you be willing to like do that? Like, is that something that you could see yourself doing?
Well,
Getting
like,
to that point?
yeah, like, so the reason I enjoy streaming is interaction.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I've wanted to do IRL type streams, I guess, but I don't have the means to do that at the moment other than mobile. But I feel I feel like the ability to stream is something that everyone should have access to.
Right.
Which is why I'm trying to start this streaming club here, kind of.
Right,
So,
right.
Whilst the technology to be able to stream isn't very affordable at the moment, it's much more affordable than it was, but it's still not like just walk to the shops and get yourself something, and yeah, wow, you're able to stream. People, you know, it's got a while to go, but getting in now is the time to get in.
Absolutely.
Because if you can get in, you get a foothold now, you can help the next generation, and that is where the real stuff's going to happen.
The real streaming, yeah, no, that makes sense. Also, Geb in the chat wrote, in London, VR AR isn't being looked at for like big creative purposes, but more, you know, how can big business, central London, make more money from this? That kind of makes sense, and I feel like that's.
Yeah.
I mean, right now it's not in the U.S. probably because there isn't really a great profit from it yet. Do you think that'll change? Like, do you think this big American business like a Facebook and Google are going to see the economic, maybe even from this quarantine?
I mean, Facebook bought Oculus.
Yes, they did. So they know, right? Yeah.
When Facebook did that, that's when the guys who founded VR Chat were like, "Oh shit, this is going to be something real right? Big."
Yeah, yeah.
And then Valve were like, "Okay, this is going to be big," and they teamed up with HTC, made the first headsets for Vive, and then they made Half-Life Alyx and released their own headset.
Great game, by the way. I really like that. Yeah.
So I think these are good. Excuse me. We're at the start. We're at like the beginning of
what's going to be.
What's going to be like. You know, see what it's like in 10, 20 years, and it'll be something we can't even imagine today.
Right.
Yeah.
How do you think AI could, I don't know how big you are. Wait, what's your major again? Sorry.
International relations.
Right, international relations.
I tried to get into interactive entertainment, didn't work out.
Okay. How do you think that like AI could have a impact on VR, like deepfakes and that kind of thing? Like, do you think that will be like how will those two worlds I don't know if you know too much about
it. I mean, an interesting concept with AI is it's becoming more and more advanced, much more advanced, and there's a lot of people warning against it. There's a lot of people saying this is going to revolutionize everything. I'm personally more on the side of it's scary. Maybe we shouldn't be pushing it too hard. Like it's that line from Jurassic Park, I think, is like your scientists were so focused whether or not they could, they didn't stop to think whether they should, or something along those lines.
Yeah, right.
But I feel like, for example, eventually, some point in the future, there could be an AI so advanced it is able to replicate like human speech patterns and such. So, for example, going back to maybe VR chat, you could have an AI who is able to speak like a regular human. And then you develop that further, and you can maybe have an AI that's able to replicate human body language. And at that point, you are unable to separate what a real person from an AI in the virtual world.
Yeah, it's much easier there. Yeah. Makes sense.
Which is fucking terrifying.
Yeah,
you could generate a friendship with someone who doesn't even exist and not know it because you never meet these people in real life.
Cobalt Cade writes in chat, literal e-girl, and that's super true, man.
Definitely.
Yeah, no, that's nuts. I feel like the NPCs are going to be pretty great. Yeah. What kind of VR games? Do you play a lot of VR games?
I used to play a ton, but I broke my arm 2 years ago.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And that stopped me being able to play VR games for like almost 8 months. So I kind of dropped out of the VR space and found other stuff to fill in that gap. And I haven't really gone back to playing myself, but I just still have this huge interest in the development technology and stuff.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm
But
trying to figure out what kind of VR games to play and like where they're going to go to as well.
Sorry,
Because I feel like you need the game you need the game ecosystem to thrive too in VR for sure for like the rest of VR to fill out.
yeah,
So I'm curious to see how like Alex obviously
that's
really great stuff.
like with Alex being like the first AAA, with the first AAA game, like first AAA VR game. I think that hopefully other studios will see the success it's had and will go, hey, maybe we should do that. But
Absolutely.
it's definitely like people have been avoiding getting VR stuff because they go, there's nothing to play on that. I don't want to play that. But then, the Valve just goes, hey, if you want to see what happens in the new Half-Life,
Come over here.
you have to buy our game.
Yeah.
You have to buy VR.
Yeah, I respect that. I respect like it's kind of like the Apple model, like Apple just says, you know what, fuck the headphone jack. You guys are gonna have to get used to like Bluetooth earbuds. But that kind of stuff has to happen. Like Valve has to make like a VR only game for it to get pushed out into the public.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. No, absolutely. Yeah. So like, what? I guess going back to just like your VR chat community, what do you do to like as the moderator, as the owner? What do you call yourself? Like are you the owner, the moderator, the chief?
Admin.
Admin. Oh yeah, that makes sense.
I don't like putting myself like on a throne. So we just have like 4 admins.
Okay.
And I'm just one of those guys. But I'm the guy who owns it. So yeah.
Nice. And I guess that's like a whole conversation in and of itself too, like the whole governmental system behind a community, like a Discord,
Yeah.
People creating
So I've been running that community for like 2.5 years now, and I've learned a ton about how online communities work. Yeah, Half-Life Alex runs on Source 2, I'm pretty sure. Just reading the chat.
Does it really? That's crazy. That's cool.
Yeah,
well, I guess that makes sense.
They created a new engine for it, so
yeah. I want them to port over. Have you ever played Team Fortress 2?
Oh, of course, yeah.
That's my favorite game of all time. Yeah. How do you like? What are some like moderating challenges that you've had? Like, what have you had to learn in moderating a space in like a VR space?
Like as corny as it sounds, I guess like one of the biggest things is to not take it too seriously.
Okay.
Like when you're online, people come here for freedom and they come here to enjoy themselves. And if you make that like not enjoyable for anyone, or you don't give them any freedom, they're not going to want to be there.
Right. Yeah.
So it's important to find that balance between keeping order and allowing people to do what they want. Because there are people who like making really, really edgy jokes, for example, and some of the jokes are pretty funny, but some of those jokes are just like, oh no, don't.
Yeah, right.
But you've got to find ways to make sure that people understand what's right and what's wrong without feeling like you're going full dictatorship, totalitarian on them.
Because people do that. Like that's one of the biggest criticism of like Twitch chats is that mods are literal dictators pretty much. That's and except I'm going a little bit overboard, but you know what I mean. Like people get really upset. You can't say anything, and like controlling speech. Like how do you deal with that concept, like limiting speech in that kind of space? I mean, you talked about.
Yeah, I mean, like something I find quite funny is there's been quite a few times people have come into servers I moderate and such, and they say something edgy, they say something bad, and I go, hey, can you not say that anymore? They may say something like weirdly sexual in a server which is full of a bunch of like underage people, and I say, hey, don't say that here.
Right.
And they go, oh, freedom of speech.
Right.
I have the
Yeah.
right to say what I want. I go, dude, this is Discord. You have no rights here. And it's like they suddenly go, oh, this isn't America. This is an online space. It's different.
Right. Yeah. That's a weird thing, though. It's a kind of a.
Freedom of speech isn't freedom from consequences. That's a very important quote I heard once. Yeah. Hey, it's Apple Lily.
Hello. Boop. Boop indeed.
Hell yeah.
So maybe for USC, how do you see USC? Not maybe just the community, maybe the entire. I don't know. Maybe the institution itself. How do you see USC getting to VR?
I mean, I'd really hoped that the VR club would have picked that up more.
Right.
And been a much bigger thing that has been. And it's unfortunate that it hasn't. I believe like the USC and VR have a ton of potential in this area, but it's just a matter of like taking advantage of that. It's like something that would have been really cool is if they had basically like we're doing now with this. Like, for example, a cool concept would be if they're able to like map out a detailed 3D model of the entire USC campus, for example. Right. It would take a fucking long time, but they could do it.
Yeah. They have the resources.
And then people would be able to whip on a VR headset and tour the university as if they're actually there. And it's a really cool bit of technology. That's just a bizarre example. Or say they've got a new project and they're trying to raise donations for it. They chuck it in VR and say, hey, patrons, we need money for this building. Look, this is what it's going to look like. Can we have money, please? Kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you kind of see like the education system moving on VR? Like, could we, if we had, I mean, obviously we can't even figure out Zoom. Like, yeah. People can't even do that. But
I mean, what's been really cool with everyone going on Zoom is there's been a load of professors who, there are a load of professors who didn't like using technology.
Right.
Like they would actively like stop you from using technology in classes. Like, I had a professor I had several professors who were like, you can't use laptops in classes and such like that. Now we're being forced to use technology. They're being forced to learn how to use technology. And I think it's all part of the learning process. I think we're going to become a very important part of education in the future. I think campus is not going to go away.
Okay.
That is here. But I think VR, for example, could allow universities to extend their the number of people who are able to attend by thousands and not have to give them housing and such, because they could be going to USC and be living in England, for example. But they could attend the lectures in VR or something like that.
Would you do that? Like, would you do online school like that? Because you seem pretty involved in the USC community too. Because you're in a frat, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I don't know if frat life would work so well in VR.
It's like the reason I joined a frat was because I came to the US. I didn't have any friends here for the most part. I didn't have any online friends because I didn't do that when I was at boarding school. Like I was a big loner, but not a loner. Like anyway, I didn't bother trying to make friends, I guess.
Right, yeah.
And I found fraternity like a great way just to have a group of people who I could talk to and rely on, and be friends with. And because I found the university is just so big, I was used to be able to make friends through classes and such, like I did in my boarding school. But when you've got just like maybe one or two classes per week for a certain subject, and you only have that class for one semester, and then you may never see anyone in that class again. It's just like,
no, it's impossible.
Yeah,
it's very hard.
So it's just very, very convenient way to have a consistent group of friends around you.
How do they see you streaming, like you in the gaming sphere? Because I kind of feel like this might be a huge generalization, but frat culture and gaming culture aren't necessarily,
Oh no, that's for my fraternity. This couldn't be further from the truth.
Oh, okay.
It's like
interesting.
Downstairs, like right now, I can guarantee there's probably at least 2 or 3 people playing League of Legends.
Incredible. Okay.
Or Minecraft or something. There was a group chat a while ago with some of our, not a while ago, last weekend actually, about playing Civ 5. So that's the reason I joined this fraternity, is because they all seemed like very genuine, kind people who had similar interests to me.
Didn't seem fratty in that way, like
Yeah, and they also know how to party, so it's fun.
Right? Yeah. No, you gotta have that too. You can't just throw that away.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I also, sorry, I kind of missed some people in the chat.
Sure.
Yeah. Also, Geb wrote, for any prospective international student, that would be interesting, like having that skill model. I guess to describe what we're doing here too, because that kind of goes along with this Minecraft server. We're just recreating. You said this earlier, but we're just recreating Minecraft in VR. So,
like the reason I applied to USC is because I came, back in 2015. My boarding school did a trip to California, and we went and visited like 20 universities, and USC was one of the ones I visited. And I just remember like really, really liking the whole aesthetic here, and going, I really want to come here. This place seems cool.
And USC is really cool.
And I applied and got in, so here I am.
Congratulations. What year are you again?
I'm a junior.
Nice. Okay. Oh, I think I see that. Me too.
Nice.
Good time. Yeah. And then after Lily said, my English professor hated Zoom. Didn't want phones either. You get scolded. My dad is an English professor too, and he just got a flip phone as his first phone, last year. So
really?
I was kind of worried
about
him using Zoom, but he kind of likes it. I think he's he's figuring it out, and he kind of likes the discussions. So honestly, if my dad can enjoy Zoom, I think the platform is open for the public, I guess.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing. Yeah, what are you gonna do with international relations? What kind of stuff are you looking to?
Generally, I think using my international relations degree, usually, if a lot of people use international relations to go into work at the UN or the CIA or something like that.
Right.
But I don't really have an interest in those things. More likely, I'd use it to just have a very thorough understanding of how the world works, how countries interact, and how governments and economies interact with things. And then that's a very general understanding of basically how the world works, and that applies to everything.
Absolutely, yeah.
And then, so I ideally want to go into something maybe get an internship at Discord or Twitch. That'd be amazing. That'd be the goal.
Because honestly, that's where international relations are too. That is international relations. Maybe it's more like interpersonal relations at this point, but
yeah, there's a lot that's similar. I forget which class it was, but it doesn't really matter. There's a whole thing about working out why certain leaders did certain things and the motivations behind that, and that's entirely how people work.
I mean, that's what you're doing with your moderation,
Yeah, so I've got a good understanding of that. I've got a good understanding of how people interact, how groups interact on like a small scale through my Discord and other online social stuff. And then I've got a better understanding of how much larger things like corporations and countries interact through IR.
No, that's a really interesting. I kind of wish I took some international relations classes, honestly.
Yeah, it's a lot of reading.
That makes sense. What have been your favorite books and stuff so far that you've read from it? Or like what era, I guess, is your favorite to study?
Modern, definitely modern stuff. I have a big interest in like the old stuff, but modern stuff that is relevant to today, like to decisions made today. That's where my big interest is. Definitely, like if you look at everything that's happened with Corona at the moment, it's the perfect time to be studying IR because
of course, yeah.
Everything that's happening, you can go, this is happening because this happened.
Right. Yeah.
Instead of going, I have no idea what's going on. It's a very interesting time.
No, absolutely. Then gamer wins, right? Through IR independent reading. Absolutely. Do you do a lot of like personal reading? Like, do you do a lot of self-study?
No, I hate reading. I'm dyslexic, so.
Oh, okay.
I'm very slow at reading.
Do you like take information better through videos and such?
Oh, 100%. I watched a lot of YouTube and a lot of stuff like that, and that's basically where I get most of my information from. Not most of it, just a lot of my general knowledge from, because I lean very, very heavily on my general knowledge about stuff. For like a lot of things, which
no, that makes sense. Yeah, I mean,
I'm great at trivia.
Yeah, I feel like YouTube is kind of the way to learn at this point too.
Sure.
The world is now free for education, which is cool. It kind of makes college seem a little bit weird, especially like in terms of it feels more like I have to read this for a grade, but I could learn everything that I want to learn in college on the internet if I wanted to.
Yeah. There's times where I get like really, really pessimistic about being in education. And like there's a part of my brain which goes, I'm only doing this because I need to get that piece of paper with the degree which tells other people that I'm smart.
That's exactly what it is. I mean, it's true.
Yeah, I'm confident in my own ability. I know I'm smart. I know I can do things and what I'm capable of. But without the piece of paper which verifies to companies and such and says, this guy's got a brain, they just go, who's this dumbass?
Why does he think he's like available?
Yeah, why does he think he's so good?
Right.
But yeah.
No, absolutely.
It's it's a bad way of looking at education, but it's
surprisingly true. It's very accurate portrayal.
Because a lot of the way that education is done is just through reading and listening. Like you listen to the professor talk for an hour and that's it. I find it very hard to learn through that, which just makes it like I need to rely on myself to learn. Like I need to learn by myself quite a lot, and I'm paying so much to come here, and I feel like I'm not getting my money's worth at times. But then all the other stuff comes from that, like all the other stuff around the USC community. I'm just like, okay, it's not so bad.
Right, yeah, and it's a social experience, and
definitely.
I hate to say this, but like networking,
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. So
like met a guy from Twitch yesterday, and if I wasn't fucking here, if it wasn't at USC, I would have never met him. So
that's crazy. Yeah, no, never mind. I'm not allowed to say that. Yeah, but it's cool the amount of people that come in. Do you get cool people who come into your classes and stuff?
Yeah, not so much in IR.
Okay.
But for some of the some of the other classes I've taken as electives in like the games department, especially. Met a ton of like really cool people. It was Jeff Kaplan in one class.
Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah.
Which is
for
nuts.
anyone in the viewers who don't know who he is, he's the vice president of Blizzard and the game director of Overwatch. So important dude.
Big deal.
Yeah.
Can't discount Jeff Kaplan.
And then there's the Kevin Hung. He's a guy from Twitch I met yesterday, and he's going to hopefully help a lot with the streaming club thing. So
oh, incredible! Wait, that's a big deal.
Yeah, and he's like one of the main links between. He's like Twitch's main connection between universities and students and Twitch. So it's like the perfect guy.
Interesting. I'd like to see Twitch's strategy in terms of that too, because do you follow the USC esports scene at all?
No.
Okay. It's a good time, but I feel like Twitch could really get involved in collegiate esports a lot more than they are. So that'd be cool to see that happen.
I mean, Kevin is the guy to talk to about all of that. Like I asked him last night, do you know what a Twitch team is?
Not really.
So like on some streamers, like for example, if you go to my channel, you'll see below it says the game I'm playing and then the team, and then after that it says the team I'm a part of.
Mm-hmm.
And usually you can only set one of those up if you're a Twitch partner.
Right.
But I contacted Kevin yesterday and said, hey, I think it'd be very beneficial if we had one of this for people at USC who stream. So you can click on that and see all the people who are a part of this group who are streamers at USC. And that makes discoverability a lot better. It brings a sense of community through Twitch.
Oh, incredible.
And he said, I could probably do that, yeah. So
crazy stuff. That's actually that's
okay.
Nuts.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I've just got to get the logistics for that worked out.
Yeah, I'd like to see some USC streamer teams.
Yeah.
That's a big thing. We have the TikTok people. USC has a lot of TikTok people, but our Twitch presence is low. Do you know any other good streamers at USC?
I don't know any big streamers at USC, no.
Okay.
I'm sure there are some, but I know none of them.
Right. No, that makes sense.
I've just got to get that outreach with this part of me wants to call it like streaming club, but there's also a big part of wants to call it like the streaming community at USC.
That makes sense.
Because if you call it a club, it feels like if you're part of it, it's like a closed thing. If it's a community, it's a much bigger, wider thing.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Club is a little bit, turns it into a...
Like I want people who are like alumni or maybe even faculty to think they could like say, hey, I stream.
Part of USC streaming community, yeah.
Just be part of the community, because if they're faculty and they stream, they may feel they can't be a part of the streaming club because it's a student-only thing.
Right.
And we've already have like a few USC streamer community, the USC.
Oh, that's so funny.
That's fucking smart. That's great. I'm gonna screenshot that in a sec.
We should probably clip that, honestly.
There we go. I've screenshot that.
Fantastic. Wow. Yeah. Just the USC.
Yeah. But USC is really touchy about having its name in like club things, so I need to tread lightly on there.
That's been the biggest problem with this Minecraft server, honestly.
Really?
Things are... The only reason why things are a little bit slower than I wish they were, just because like the bureaucracy, just because they're paying for it, and USC has its name on it, and it's like, it's USC and Minecraft. They kind of want to have some sort of control.
Yeah, for sure.
We do something, they're like, wait, hold up. We have to validate that this is like acceptable.
Like what's happened?
Well, I don't know. There's this one guy in the esports union, and I've been talking to him a lot about it.
What's his name?
Jim. Do you know Jim?
Oh, Jim Huntley?
Yeah, Jim Huntley. Good guy.
Yeah.
But we've been talking to him a lot about, how to get this thing off the ground. And the funding for it took a long time to get. And then we had many different server options that we thought were actually cheaper than this Microsoft Azure server. But they had credits. They had like university credits, so they wanted to use them. And there's $100 on the account, so we can use the server for like a month before it's before we don't have like the money anymore. So we're gonna have to like, transfer it. Yeah.
This is costing $100 a month.
It's 60 or so, and it shouldn't. Like you can use any other server, and
it'll like
cost infinitely cheaper. Yeah, I mean, like
I've been doing huge world edit things, and it doesn't lag. But at the moment, it's just me and you on here, so it doesn't need to be anywhere near that big.
Exactly. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, we'll see how that goes, but it's just there's a lot of things take a long time, like just basic communication things. I have to get his phone number and just call him now. Like by email, everything took like 20 years. But it's cool that they're
for sure
posting this. So I'm excited to see what kind of things people will do. Oh, stream's buffering. Okay. Well, my connection is unstable. Tough scene. Should be good now theoretically.
But yeah, laggy on Zoom as well.
Yeah. Is it better now? Or is it still kind of...
There we go, you're back.
Okay. Good.
I'm not sure if the stream's back, but you're back on Zoom.
Okay. Yeah, I think the stream's still a little bit buggy. Yeah. No, it's a crazy time. But honestly, I'll wait for this to buffer, but I gotta get going pretty soon. But, thanks so much. I really appreciate you,
sure,
being a part of this. It's been a good time.
Yeah, it's been great.
Okay, I think we're back. Cool.
Cool.
Sorry, Gamer Wins. I'm gonna stop the stream, but Eret, if you wanna, I mean, obviously it's your life.
Yeah.
If you wanna stream, go ahead. Minecraft. Stuff. I don't know.
Sorry?
Yeah, I don't know your schedule. You do your own thing, but
I didn't hear what you said. Sorry.
Oh, nothing at all. Nothing of consequence.
Okay.
But is I guess like one last thing. Is there anything like people who aren't familiar with streaming or like this whole sort of community, like is there anything people should know that they don't know? Like what's one question you think people should ask about the streaming community or the video game, VR, any community you're part of?
Huh. I'm not sure. Like, I think people doubt their ability to do stuff a lot. People are much more able to do things than they think they're able to, and I think that holds a lot of people back. I wouldn't be where I am right now if I didn't take that first step. I think there's actually like a proper saying, but like journey of 1,000 miles starts with one step or something like that. It's just, go do it.
Absolutely. All right, I think that's a pretty good note to leave this. Again, thank you so much. Thank you, chat, for tuning in.
Yeah,
thanks for all of your people tuning in. It's nice to have a chat that chats.
Yeah, definitely.
Very useful for the thing. Part 2? Yeah, sure. We can do this again. All right. Okay. Well, goodbye, stream.